Okay, so now we will be starting. Happy Republic Day, everyone, and Jai Hind. Freedom in mind, faith in words, pride in our heart, memories in our souls. Let's salute the nation on this Republic Day. A mollifying good morning to everyone present here. I'm Anushka Chopra, the marketing head of Nss Cvs. First of all, I would like to wish you a very happy Republic Day. Today is an imperative day for our all fellow countrymen. Republic Day is celebrated on 26 January every year. On this day, 1950, on this year, on 1950, the Constitution of India came into effect. Our Constitution gives us numerous rights and responsibilities too. We live in a democratic country where every single person enjoys their fundamental rights and duties. Unity in diversity, the abundant beauty of a country where we have different caste, religions, language, food, way of living, but then also we stand united and we live united. So let's take a pledge on this felicitous day that we all will cultivate peace and harmony and must commemorate the sacrifices of our freedom fighters so that we can value the freedom which we got just because of issues. Patriotism is just like charity, it must begin at home. Now, I would like to call our beloved President, Anshika Arora, to greet everyone.
Thank you, Anushka. Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, we all are gathered here today to celebrate 26th of January, that is 73rd Republic Day of India. I wish you all a very happy Republic Day. देशभक्तों के बलिदान से आजाद हुए हैं हम. कोई पूछे कौन हो तुम तो गर्व से कहना भारतीय हैं हम. While India gained independence from the British Raj in 1947, it wasn't until January 26, 1950, that the Indian Constitution came into effect and India became a sovereign state, declaring it a republic. The day showcases the country's rich cultural heritage and military process, a tribute to the martyrs who have sacrificed their lives for the country and to confer bravery awards on military persons, citizenry, and children for showing courage in the face of adversity. Our founding figures were erudite and brave. They fought for our independence and should be an inspiration to our leaders today. Their contribution in shaping the nation is a priceless blessing. Their life, their deeds, their philosophy, and how they shaped our nation. Now, I would like to introduce our special guest today, Major General Prabdeep Singh Behl, who is an inspiration and a brave son of our country who served our India for years. I'm glad and we all are so lucky to have you, sir, amongst us today as our special guest of honor. I welcome you, sir. Thank you, and over to the anchor now.
26 January is not just a national holiday, but a day to remind that we share the challenges collectively. It is to bind us with feelings of nationalism in common achievement as proud citizens of India. May the purity and peace lie within each citizen of our country and that we continue the wheel of progress every day. May the majestic color of our Indian flag wave high with the prosperity and patriotism. Our revered speaker of this session is an inspiration for the whole country, a pride of our country. He is a veteran who has served Indian Army for over 36 years. During his service, he has had the privilege of servicing in all types of terrain and all corners of the country, ranging from deserts in Rajasthan to high altitude areas in Sikkim and in Arunachal Pradesh, the plains of Punjab to fighting terrorists in Jammu Kashmir and the northeast of India. During his career, he has held prestigious command and staff appointments. He has the privilege of having been the first instructor of the first course of women officers of the Indian Army who was commissioned into the Indian Army. He also served and handled the Kargil conflict when he was posted at the Military Operations Directorate from 1997 to 2000. He commanded his battalion in Jammu and Kashmir and at Hyderabad. During his command at Hyderabad, he was involved in the conduct of the 4th Military Games. He commanded a brigade in Punjab and a mountain division in the northeast in a counter-terrorism environment. He retired as Assistant Chief of Integrated Defense Staff from Headquarters IDS, New Delhi. He has an endless queue of achievements that will not end up in one day. So, without any further wait, we would like to invite our guest of honor, Major General Prabdeep Singh Behl, to galvanize us with his words. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Anushka and Anshika, for firstly having introduced me and then also having invited me to talk to you young people, the youth of our nation, the future of our nation. So, firstly, heartiest congratulations on the 73rd Republic Day, and a day and an event that we are very extremely proud of. Having gained independence, you know that India has made large strides in all walks of life, in all fields, in all spheres. And it is you people, the youth of our nation, who's the driving force behind whatever development takes place. It is your vision, it is your contribution to society which starts now at this age, at the college level, at the school level, which is going to propel our nation to achieve even greater heights. So the topic today that I've chosen is something which is a part of your NSS, because you believe in that very dictum, because you are taught the very things that it is you who matters, not me. So what a wonderful slogan you people have as far as your organization is concerned. So I'm very happy that the College of Vocational Studies, you young boys and girls have chosen to join the NSS and then get involved in community service. The more you give, the more you're going to get. So the more you give to society is much more that you're going to get in return. So with all this, I'm going to talk of certain basic things. Why should we be proud of being Indians? We talk of our cultural heritage, extremely rich cultural heritage. We talk of our monuments. When you look at our monuments, I think each and every one is a marvel in the world. We talk of unity in diversity. So if I just talk about this aspect of unity and diversity, I've served as Anushka just introduced, I've served from Kashmir down to Chennai. I've served from the deserts of Rajasthan all the way to the northeast. And trust me, wherever you go, it's a different culture. It's a different ethos. It's a different ethnicity. It's a different, many places there's a conglomerate of many religions living together. But the fact of the matter remains, what unites us is the Indianness. Nobody looks at, when we go there, I may be a Sikh gentleman, but when I go to Tamil Nadu, I'm not viewed differently. I'm viewed as an Indian. You're getting what I'm saying? So that's what Indianness is. When I go abroad, and it's happened a number of times, the very turban, a person with a turban walking around in the streets of New York, somebody comes for help, speaks to you in Hindi. That's Indianness. That's our rich culture, that we recognize each other instantly and trust each other to do exceptionally well. Now, today some of you may have witnessed the Republic Day parade on the television. Isn't it a magnificent show? I mean, the likes of it you don't see anywhere. It's just such a pleasure to see so many thousands and thousands of people on a cold early morning getting up and going and witnessing this parade. You've just gone to witness the parade. Talk about the boys and girls, the men who are involved in it, who practice so hard to display our pride, our military might, our culture on this particular day. When you talk of culture, do you know that in UNESCO has the World Heritage Sites? You would have heard that, World Heritage Sites. In India, we have the largest World Heritage Sites. We have 40 of them, which is the largest in any country. And they're all over, whether they're in, Arunachal Pradesh, or they're down in the south, or they're in Delhi, all parts of the country. So, and I'm very happy today when you go onto the internet and you go on to, even on Facebook or somewhere, there is a very big drive on by certain group of people to showcase as to what kind of, archaeological marvels our predecessors have produced. We go all the way to Europe and we go all the way to the US, not realizing that there is so much of rich heritage and culture within our own nation. So I would urge you all at this particular stage only, before I stop talking about culture, go and visit. You are in Delhi. How many of you have gone to the Qutub Minar? How many of you have gone to the Humayun's tomb? How many of you have gone to the Lodi Gardens? So, and Anshika, your next project should be to take everybody one day, let's go have a picnic in the Qutub Minar. Read about it, talk about it. Study that. Next month, have a picnic and a get together at Humayun's tomb. I mean, these gentlemen who may have constructed this is immaterial. I'm not talking about, who they are, but I'm talking about the archaeological marvel that is existing within your reach to have a look at. All those who made, these may have come from outside, but Karigar to hamare the. So admire that. Start from Delhi itself. And you will. How many of you have gone to the National Museum? Very few. Please do that. So when you look at community, when you look at community service, when you look at NSS, let's start by knowing a little bit about our culture also. It'll do you a lot of good. It'll do a lot of good. We go to, we go to the US, you go to Washington, and you go to maybe to London, and you want to go to the museum, and you want to go to France, and you go to the Louvre, and you want to spend the whole day there, and you come back and say, wow, it's so beautiful. What about doing wow to what is existing within our country? With this, I'll share a small incident. I went to Portugal, and, we'll go to the castle, and there's a beautiful castle and all that stuff. And it was about 2 hours away drive when we went there. And there is just a castle. And there's a place, they said, these are the things which have been brought from India. The point I'm trying to tell you is those people are showcasing what they have taken from here, stolen from here, or grabbed from here, or purchased from here, and gone and exhibited that as something worth people to see. But here, within our country, let's do it first. Okay, so enough of this. I think I've driven my home a point. You want to go to the beaches, you go to Goa. You want to see the snow, go to J&K, Jammu and Kashmir, go to Gulmarg. You want to see the hills and mountains, you go to Arunachal Pradesh, you go to Meghalaya. You want to see the meadows that you see in Scotland or in Ireland, go to Meghalaya and see. They're as good. Go to Cherrapunji. Go to Dauki. If you've not heard of Dauki, that's the clearest, water you can see, or if you can see the bottom of the river. It's so clear, the water is so clear. So the point I'm trying to make here is, we are extremely, extremely rich in culture, in nature. admire it. All right. Now, there is also a tendency amongst our own people. Today you are students, and tomorrow you will go and study abroad. You will go for higher studies abroad, and rightly so, you would like to be in one of the good universities of the US or in UK. My humble request to you is, do your academics there, do your studies there, learn good things, if there are any that you have learned, and get back to our country, contribute back. And why I say this? Why do I say this? I'm being very, very candid about it. I'm going to be very practical about what I'm talking. The heads of most of the corporates, Sundar Pichai and the works, after all, they have been one of you. You go to NASA, you go to MIT. Who are the professors? Who are the scientists? Most of them are our brothers and sisters who went there to study and chose to stay there, became proud Americans. You understand what I'm saying? They rallied around that green card and became proud Americans and started contributing to the growth of America. If that very person had got back here, he would contribute tremendously to the growth of our own nation. Not that we are missing them any. We are doing very well as a nation. We are the fourth largest economy in the world. We're the fourth largest military in the world. Do you know that our foreign reserves, the forex, foreign exchange reserves, are more than that of the United States? Isn't it interesting? When it's more than the UK. And we talk of our neighborhood. When we look around in our neighborhood, you should be looking and being very proud of yourself that you are an Indian, you were born Indian. When you look around, there's chaos. When you look around in countries, you look around in many countries which are war-struck. When you look at Africa, when you look at Eastern Europe, there's no patch. We Indians, or India as a country, are way, way ahead. Technologically. Now let's talk technology. Do you know, I'll give you a simple fact. Do you know what is the growth of internet users between 2000 to 2021? How much percentage in India? Is the highest in the world. The growth of internet users in the world in this particular century is 11,200%. Not funny. That's the growth that we are doing. So if today when you see a rickshawala, he's also ready to accept digital payments. When you see a guy at a small booth, he's ready to take a digital payment. If we, in our 73 years of being a republic and 75 years of being independent, have reached this stature, just imagine what's going to happen when you are, say 100 years old as a nation. Our path to growth is extremely, extremely high. Then you will tell me, sir, it's fine, you have internet, but what about the poverty in India? Now, I will give you a very, yes, we have heard at many a times that farmers committed suicide and this and that. You go to a village, and I've been to remote areas. I've been extremely, extremely remote areas. You guys can't even imagine how remote. But everybody is happy. Barring few. I mean, there is a very minuscule percentage which is suffering. Let's not go by statistics, because when you go by world statistics, the statistics are by world standards. But when you look at that index, when you look at that happiness, when you look at comfort level, when you look at what is existing in our country, you go to a village, they're happy people. They're extremely, extremely happy. In their own way, in their own right, they eat what they get. They do not complain. And that's another big factor in India. We do not complain so easy. We are contented people. Yeah, coming to technology, I digress. You know, mobile users, there is always an index of when you see the growth of a country and you see how fast the country is progressing. These are few indicators in today's world. The number of mobile users, what's our population? 1.3 billion, right? That includes kids, infants as well. But our mobile people who own mobiles is 1.18 billion. I've gathered these facts because I want to speak out of facts to you and not say ki kahan se aa gaya gap maar raha hai. I don't want to do that. I'm giving you facts. 1.18 billion mobile users are there in our country. Today, when you say, some of us, it's very interesting to say, sir, I'm not tech savvy. I'm not computer savvy. The damn mobile on your hand, you use it so well. You can book a ticket through it. You can make an online purchase to it. You can send an email to it. And then you say you're not computer savvy. I will give you a very interesting example. I went to, my car got bad and I was forced to get my car repaired. I was still in uniform that day. Somehow the car went wonky, kharab ho gayi. So I went to this mechanic. And this mechanic identified the fault and then started playing around with his mobile. I was getting a little annoyed with him. I said, Dad, I've come bloody, I'm in uniform, I have to go to work. And you are now fooling around with the mobile. He had gone to the YouTube to see how to repair that fault. He had gone to YouTube to see as to how could he fix that, what are the proper steps to do and fix that particular fault. And he was a roadside mechanic. Padha likha nahi tha. But he went to YouTube, he had to look at it. He says, then after he was convinced that he knew how to do it, he went, sir, let's do it now. That's what India is all about. Do you know how brilliant we are? Each one of us, I and you. When you go abroad, the people abroad, in Europe and in the US, you feel like they treat you like riffraff, you Indians. They don't do it out of contempt. They do it because they're extremely jealous of your brains. So they try to show you down by the chamdi, by that white skin, and call you a brown skin fellow. They try and bring you down to say that, we're smarter than you. They aren't. What I do in 15 minutes, they do in 1 week. I've been in New York, UN headquarters, for 3 years. What my colleagues would do in 1 week, I would do in 15 minutes. And I'm an ordinary guy. And that's my equation, 15 minutes to a week. Because 4 days he will spend thinking about it. Karun kaise? Then he will be more worried what will be the outcome. We as Indians, we come to conclusions. Straight away, our mind works like a computer. We know thak, thak, thak. And this is what it has to be. So be proud of yourself. Be proud of the fact that you are an Indian, born in India, with the dimag which is today respected all across the world. You go to any corner of the world, you'll find us there. I'll give you another interesting geographical fact. When हम जब इंडिया का मैप देखते हैं तो हम कश्मीर को ऊपर रखते हैं और नीचे रखते हैं कन्याकुमारी को. Right or wrong? Now turn it around. Now you turn it around. When you turn it around, that entire land mass is projecting into an ocean. Right or wrong? Absolutely right. So you see, we are projecting into an ocean which is named after us. Why? Because we are a huge landmass which is projecting into the seas, into the Indian Ocean. So sometimes you got to change your perspective to see as to what is our importance vis-a-vis the world. We keep looking at Kashmir on top, north, south. Turn it around and see. That is how, when you turn it around and see, that is how you will see how our influence is spread into Indonesia, it is spread into Cambodia, it's spread into Vietnam, Laos, where you find temples, where our culture is existing. You will find our presence on the east coast of Africa because we did trade with them. Why did we do the trade with them? Whether we were the Chola kingdom or whether we were the Marathas. Why do you think the Portuguese came to India? Why do you think the Brits came to India? And how do you think they came? They didn't come through the landmass. So change a little perspective. We are a dominant country, strategically located in the middle of the ocean. Our coastline is huge. So change your perspective a little and you'll find as to how important we are as a nation. Let's talk, since we are talking our location strategically, let's talk diplomatically. Today, you would be aware that we are one of the most respected nations amongst all countries. We have had the presidency of the UN for the third time, right? Today, no decision in the world or no country in the world, including China, no country in the world ignores India. Before they do something big, before they make an alliance, before they, meet up with others, they keep India in mind. Why do they keep India in mind? Because India is considered as a trustworthy nation. India is considered as a nation which you can rely on for the correct thing. Our politicians, our bureaucrats, our diplomats, our military leaders are way superior to the rest of the world. A country which has to grow. I'm not a politician, but I will make a statement. A country which has to grow must have a stable government in the center. Today, you have a majority government and a solid majority government. And the government of India, whichever is in power, will always have the good of its country in mind, will always aim, believe, and do what is good for the people whom they represent. So when you have a strong government, you are bound to grow. And we are on the path of growth. Let's not look at our neighbors. Pakistan is a country not worth talking about. उनके साथ हम हमें कंपेयर नहीं करना है. We are incomparable. We are on our own league. The Chinese, we can take on the Chinese. They can do what they want to do. Militarily, we are extremely strong. We're the fourth largest armed forces in the world. We are one of the highest spenders as far as, buying equipment or making equipment is concerned. We are a force to reckon with. And trust me, it is you people, the present youth, which is going to be the driving force, which is going to drive India, which is going to drive our wonderful country. Today, we are placed third, fourth, economically, militarily, but it is you people who's going to propel it even to become the first and second. And nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. So just aim high. When you wear that NSS badge on your uniform or dress with pride, wear the Indian tricolor on pride, with pride. Say that you're a proud Indian. Say that you're an Indian. And I'm telling you, people are jealous of you. People love it. They love our Indian food, don't they? I will give you a very interesting incident. I must tell you a story also, instead of giving you a bhashan. I was in Mozambique with the United Nations mission, and I was doing something. I was the only one handling that for some time. And when I got back, I went on a short chutti. I went gallivanting in South Africa and came back, and I found 6 Americans had invaded my office. So these US Army officers, 2 from the US Navy, 2 Army, 2 Air Force, they came there and they said, we are going to do this task. I said, fine. Please do it. Now what happened, after about 3-4 days, their boss, and I was a captain, just 28 years, he asked me, he says, Captain, what do you do for a living? I said, nothing. He says, no, you got to do something for a living. I said, what I used to do alone, you 6 have come to do the same, so please carry on doing that. Anyway, He was one of those stuck-up guys. And the rest of the 5 were rather scared of him. So I became friendly to the junior lot. So I took them to an Indian restaurant for a treat. And we had a good meal and we came back. But I did not take the boss. So just before I was leaving, he called me aside. He says, "Captain, I believe you took my fellow Americans for a treat to the Indian restaurant." I said, "Yes." He says, "How about taking me also?" So he wanted to be introduced to the Indian food by an Indian. They don't know what to eat. But today, when you go abroad, you will find the Indian restaurants doing well. Extremely, extremely well. And they love the Indian curry. And the curry is all over. So what I'm trying to say is, in all fields, we guys are doing exceptionally well. Okay. Now let's talk of, what should I talk of? I'll tell you something more about the military. But since I am a Fauji and I must talk about it. We are all over the world. As UN peacekeepers, we are the 3rd largest contributors to UN peacekeeping. There was a time we were number 1. Today we are 3rd. And the people ahead of us are Bangladesh and Nepal as contributors towards peacekeeping. All the 17 peace missions. Why are we number 3? Because we have our own commitments. We have to take care of the Chinese. We have to take care of the Pakis. We have to take care of a little bit of insurgency which is going on in the northeast and, of course, in Jammu and Kashmir. And Jammu and Kashmir, as you all are aware, is all creation of, the trouble there is all creation of Pakistan. So we have our troops which are committed there. Whereas Bangladesh and Nepal have no worries. So they keep the army abroad. So that is how they become, greater contributors. So we are the 3rd largest contributors in UN peacekeeping. Today we are stepping as with the Prime Minister's vision of Atmanirbharta. We are looking at increasing the defense production. Earlier it was very easy. We don't have this, okay, let it get it from other country. Not today. Today you cannot get things from abroad. You will have to make them in India. And rightly so. We have the brains, we have the technology, we have the wherewithal. Why should we import? We will make it here and we will export. You would have heard about our missiles recently being bought by Philippines, the BrahMos missiles. So more and more such exports are going to take place. Why I make this point here is, you young lot, much more brainier than the previous lots, you have to contribute. You have to devise ways and means. You have to innovate. You have to ideate and find solutions to problems which are existing. You are the ones who have to, you are the future startups. And how do you start up? How do you ideate? We've got a startup day which was there the other day. A few days back we had the National Startup Day. We have so many incentives for us to start up. My little advice to you when you start up something, what do you start is always in your mind. कि मैं ये करूँगा तो ये होगा कि नहीं होगा. You have to identify a need. What is the requirement? There is a problem that you always faced. So find a solution to the problem. What are the problems being faced in your community? when you as NSS workers, as students, when you go around and you see that the community is facing such a challenge, what if I found a solution to that? And that's where your idea will come, and that's where your startup idea will start, and then that is what that idea needs to germinate. I have a friend who started something very interesting, a classmate of mine. He found that the rivers had so much of plastic in them and so much of chaos, gand in them, the waste which was being let loose. So he started something simple. He started experimenting by putting wire nets in the river, so that the solid waste would not go ahead. And today, he's being recognized all over the country. He's putting those, nets to stop the garbage getting into and polluting our rivers and the lakes. So there was a problem which he identified, and he found a solution, simple solution to it. So that's what I'm trying to tell you today. Do that. When you do community service, when you look around yourself, you find that these are the problems being faced, and from there your ideas. And then you'll be successful. So that's my humble request to you. I will now stop here. I will take on questions if you want me to answer. I will request you, and from the bottom of my heart, to start feeling good about being what you are, being good at what you do, feel good at what you do, and feel very exceptionally proud that you are a super Indian. All of us, each one of us. Today, I think I have about 91 plus 15, 14, about 100 odd of us are listening to me. All those who are there, all 100 of us have got something unique about ourselves. No, everybody is different. Each one of us has got something about which is different from the other. There is something that you are good at. Something you may not be good at. But that something that you are good at, please make sure that you excel in that. Have a hobby. You've got to have a hobby. Play an instrument. Play a sport. Read about Indian heritage. Read about when you go to the Qutub Minar, read about it and go. You will find there is so much you need to know. Write. All those who are wanting to write. I wrote a book. I had nothing to do, so I wrote a book. It's called Sanuki. I'm not selling that. But I'm just trying to say is, many of you would be writing poetry. Many of you would be writing, songs, lyrics. Pen them down. 1 page a day. Read 20 pages a day. Whatever is your interest, please follow that and do well, because whatever is your interest, whatever you are good at, take it to the next level and to the next level and next level. And when you take it to the highest level, this country is a country with a large heart. It will reward you for what you have done. There is so much of potential amongst all of you, and I am so very proud to have spoken to you. Thank you for having given me an opportunity. I hope it was worthwhile, and I hope that I've been able to motivate you enough as fellow Indians. And when you see a Fauji, say hello to him and thank him. Because trust me, we guard the borders and it isn't easy doing that. Yesterday, I gave a talk to my another one hotel staff, a 5-star hotel that called me for motivating them, and I gave them a very interesting presentation as to what the military way of life was. So I showed them a lot of pictures. So thank the armed forces. Be proud of your armed forces. Be proud of your country. Be proud of our scientists. I did not talk about ISRO, the satellites, Chandrayaan. Our scientists are unbelievable. And these are the brains which have stayed back in India. We should be now started looking at using our brains. You may have to gain something from outside. I mean, good, go, do a course, study, learn, get back. It's a wonderful, wonderful country. Be proud of it, contribute. Thank you very much. I'll take on a few questions if you have any. Yes. Anyone?
Sir, good afternoon,
Yeah,
sir. I
please.
have one question. Sir, what do you think? Should there be a conscription in our country, just like Russia or Israel?
No. Why should we have a conscription? Conscription is there. People are not ready. People are, not forthcoming to join the armed forces. Conscription का मतलब ये है जबरदस्ती. Ours is a volunteer army. We ask for volunteers. We do not force you to join. Because military is one profession. There are many professions which are equally important and are required by the country. So conscription is not for us. That's why we have the short service scheme. The short service entry. You go there, you serve for a couple of years, and then you're free to step out if you don't like that service. Or if you... And a short service officer, when he comes out, he's better placed than the rest of the lot because he's more experienced and more disciplined. Because that's our way of life. It's different. Conscription, not a good idea. Wherever you have conscription, Israel is a different story. Israel is a different story. They're fighting for survival. You understand that. They fight a war every day. Every man is important. Every day there are rocket fires. Every day there is conflict. So that tiny nation needs every manpower. So everybody is made to go through that. Yeah.
Okay, sir, I was having a question.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir, I just want to ask, what instilled in you or what motivated you to become, you came so far, and what, motivated you to become an army officer, and in so young age you became a captain. That's very impressive thing.
Okay, Anushka. The thing is, firstly, I'm a second generation. I was born in the army. I was born in the same regiment as I was in. So I'm a, what should I say? I was born in the army. I was brought up in the armed forces. So, as all army brats were spoiled, I also chose this career and I went to the National Defense Academy after my 12th. And here I am. And as far as, we get commissioned very early, Anushka. At a very early age. The beauty of the armed forces is you get commissioned at 21, 22 years. At 22 years, let's take an average. At 22 years, you get commissioned as a lieutenant. And trust me, that's the best time of your life. 22 years, you start earning. You have been through a lot of ragda, a lot of tough training, and you become an officer and a responsible one at that. You are 22, 23 years of service, of age, and in many a times, you have given responsibility of 130 people. It could be in Siachen, it could be in counter-terrorism roles, it could be in the desert. 130 people you got to command. And you get it's a huge responsibility. You are given a huge responsibility of taking a convoy of 100 vehicles from the plains of Punjab into Kargil, Leh, Ladakh. 100 vehicles loaded with ammunition or with rations. So the responsibility comes to you at a very early age in the armed forces. And of course, once you get into whatever organization, you have to put in your 100% and you have to work very hard to reach the higher levels, maximum highest level that you can. The rest is destiny. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So,
I want to ask you a question.
you said you were in NDA, so now NDA is open for girls. What do you think about that? Like,
Fabulous.
recently it is open for girls.
Yes. Now, as you were introduced, I was the instructor of the first batch of cadets who joined the army in OTA, Chennai. And this was way back 92. Okay. 92, I was 29 years of age and I was training girls to become officers of the army, and that was the first batch. And there were only 25 of them who joined. So since then till today, the armed forces have come a long way. And we've started, getting these girls into the NDA. NDA is, that means you're going after your 12th class. So the NDA will shape you to become physically fit, mentally strong, and mentally strong. And 3 years, and at the same time, of course, you're made to study also. You do your graduation from JNU. Earlier, we used to do it from JNU, and now I think it's Pune University. So, side by side, it's a tough routine, but it's a balanced routine. It's a routine that you would love to follow. If you don't love to, you'll be made to follow. In the end of it all, you'll start liking it and you'll get used to it. So, when the girls are going to come to the NDA, I think it's a welcome step. And I'm very happy that such a, step has been taken. Initial problems are always there at both ends, for the organization also and for the participants, because the machinery is not oiled up to accommodate them. But then Indian Army is a great army. We can adapt very easily. And we'll see the first 17 who have joined, who will be joining, how well they do. Yeah. I had another question. It says, what is your advice to army aspirants? Just go for it. The army, getting into the armed forces is one of the most difficult things. I hope you know that. Now, I will just give you a little statistic. The number of people sitting for the written exam, maybe about 3 lakh. Number of people getting through the written exam, 3,000. Number of people getting through the SSB, the most difficult part, 500 to 600. People getting through the medical around 400, 500. People coming in merit, and we are only going to take 300. So from 3 lakh, it's 300 out of 3 lakhs. I'm just giving you a rough, very, very rough kind of just to make you understand that it is how steep. So that person who's gone into the NDA or gone into the IMA and has become an officer, he's gone through these steps. Not funny. I had a very interesting one. Somebody asked me, sir, I'm not getting through SSB. I have gone for SSB 23 times. SSB, the interview process is one of the most toughest in the world. If you don't get through it once, yes, you must try 3-4 times. And after that, if you haven't got through, that means you are not meant for it. It's a very, very intense, very, very difficult process. So when you look at an army officer, you got to look at it, whether it's a lady or whether it's a gentleman, you got to look at them with a little bit of respect for what they are. Because a guy like me, hardly any percentage in school. I'm one of those 44% types. So there I am. Yeah. Another one, last one. Right. I guess there are no more questions. So, yeah. Ishan, you're talking about China trying to counter India. Yes.
Yes.
China is always there, son, because China products are very cheap. And let me tell you, China, when you say Chinese maal hai.
हाँ, बिल्कुल sir.
Now, I will give you a little example. They supplied a lot of equipment to Bangladesh. They supplied a lot of equipment to Pakistan. But it actually is turning out to be Chinese maal only. They're having a lot of difficulties in repairs. They're going off-road. They're not of the standard. So, but it is quick to offer. China is very, very quick to offer. आज बोलेगा कल भेज देगा.
बिल्कुल sir.
Whereas in India, we will promise, but we will make sure that we will give you correctly. It may take a little time. Our process is a little slow, but in the present regime, they have been hastened up and we are becoming better at that. So we will tomorrow, in your times, we will be much, much, much better.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I guess that's it. And it's been wonderful talking to you all. And I hope I was able to convey certain points. And yeah.
Thank you so much sir, for motivating us. And thank you so much for filling a tangent of motivation in all of us. And we truly derive a huge inspiration and patriotism. It was pleasure listening to you. And before we sign off, there are some teachers. If any teacher want to give any if any teacher want to send any message to any student, or like they want to tell something, then they can go forward. And I would really appreciate and request any teacher if they want to discuss anything or share anything with the students.
Anshika, can I?
Yes, ma'am, for sure you can go forward.
Good evening, sir. This is Dr.
Yes, ma'am.
from Department of History. I'm an ex-NSS program officer. And today I'm a little unwell, but it was like when I heard about you, Anshika had sent me an invite. I just couldn't hold back myself. Thank you very much for motivating and inspiring our students. Sir, it was such a wonderful talk, and I think the students are going to work on these lines. Thank you so much, and we would like to hear more of motivational talks from you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Happy.
Okay, so now before we sign off, we would like to express our gratitude to our honorable speaker, Mr. Prabdeep sir, for sharing his pendant of sanity and sharing his amazing abundance information, as well as our event ever supportive event officer, Dr. Ashish Tarudev sir, for making time for us. A great cheer, and thank you to the audience for taking out your precious time, and volunteers of Nss Cvs for making this event a great session. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.